Welcome, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Get my phone back in the right position so you can see me. Hope everyone is doing well today. This is a great day, as every day is for our Warriors. And you guys are continuing to succeed and do things and continue on your purpose and continue making strives, goal-wise, be better in yourself, whether it's financially, spiritually, or physically, and trying to continue to figure out more about who you are. And I think a lot of that comes down to the journey you're on and retention. I'm getting closer, I think, to 555 or something like that. And it is a continual process. However, it becomes more and more apparent to me that as we do this longer, the more your focus shifts. And more my focus shifted to making money, the more my shift is focused on trying to get in better shape. And the focus has been more spiritually to get closer to God. So those are the three things that I've really noticed in myself as I'm going on this longer and longer type of thing, that you become a lot more focused on these other things than you do on the things that I was focusing on for so many years. And so that's a big difference, and I think a very big positive type of thing. So it allows you to focus on other things that really are much more important. Because in the long run, a little satisfaction here and there is not really something that is going to it's gonna deplete you. It's gonna make you a lot less stronger. It's not gonna really achieve anything. And for what goal? What long-term goal? A little pleasure here and there. Like I said, once again, if you're trying to have children, that's a different story. But if you're not trying to have children, then to my mind, a lot of that stuff you should be thinking to yourself, let me keep my energy. Let me use my energy in different ways so I can focus on more things that are positive and trying to make this world a better place. So again, in that realm, we're going to continue our discussion on the 10 Commandments, because I believe these are very practical and not only spiritual types of guides. And you look at a lot of religions, they have very similar type of tenets. And this one obviously is thou shalt not kill. And so let's talk about this one a little bit as far as retention goes, And so, interesting enough, when we talk about this, you may not think there's a great relationship, but a lot of it goes back down to the idea of self-control. And so, thou shalt not kill has a couple of different types of meanings to it. Obviously, of the physical part of this, that you should not try to kill another human being. And this applies, in my mind, physically and emotionally. You should not try to bury people and to try to put them in the ground, even emotionally. You should not be doing those things, because that should not be something that you're thinking about in your mind. Now, in a situation like a war situation, in a situation where you're trying to defend yourself, that's something that I think is between you and your Lord. However, I will also say this, that I think that you have to kind of decide what options you have in any type of situation you have. It is obviously better not to hurt people, than it is to hurt people. What is your intention? If your intention is to defend yourself, that's a whole different type of thing. But Jesus talked about the fact that he forgives 70 times 7. And so you're continuing to forgive people. And so people are people, they're going to make mistakes. To try to kill them emotionally, physically, in the workplace, any kind of thing like that is something that doesn't serve a lot of purpose. And again, what are you getting out of it? And I believe that things come around, go around. And so basically, if you're doing that to people and you're trying to get ahead by putting people under you, you're eventually going to get that back in spades. And you're going to get that back over and over again in your life. And so you're going to create a mentality where you're going to lose your soul as well. And so that's why we talk about the fact that you have to love one another it's not only something that's going to help other people, obviously, you're not going to hurt them, but it's also something for you. So let's examine that for a little bit. Why is it something that is going to help you? Well, in the fact that you're not hurting people, you're not taking things away from people, we'll talk about those commandments later, you're basically saying, okay, I have enough self-control, I'm going to focus on just trying to give to people, to make people feel happy, to help people, and as a result of that, I'm not going to go ahead and hurt people. And so you're going to be much better off because of it. You're going to be a lot more strong spiritually, and you're going to have a lot more positive types of things in your life because you basically are trying to help people become stronger and stronger. And this is such a key when it comes to your journey. When you're on your journey, you're really trying to help better yourself and help others by bettering yourself. And this is such a key situation where when you're looking at self-control, you're looking at trying to control things that you know are wrong. And this commandment obviously is very wrong in trying to kill another individual in any form you try to do it with. And like I said, I'm not just talking about the physical form, I'm talking about also the emotional, trying to hurt people. And you could say this hurting people is in that same realm. You don't want to hurt people to the point where you're trying to gain an advantage over them. Now, that in our society, because we're highly competitive and we have a competitive society, is something that people do. They do a lot of that. And the people who are truly evil, they do a lot more of that. But the thing is, you have to be careful of people and their motives. And it does make you vulnerable at times because you're not going to respond the same way. However, you also have to defend yourself. And that's a whole different thing. Warriors need to defend themselves, defend their areas. And it doesn't mean you go out and attack people all the time, but it does mean you have to defend yourself. And as a warrior, you're defending yourself against people who have evil intentions. And those people are out there. Even though you may not have those intentions, and you may not be a person who wants to, plunder and attack people all the time and kill people, you're still defending yourself. And those things are very important. You have to be able to understand this and lead people in your fight against evil forces. And those things need to be decimated around you. But those things are around you. They're always going to be around you. And the idea, guys, is that you want to go ahead and say, look, I am not going to go out and purposely try to take advantage of people. I'm not purposely trying to kill someone emotionally, physically, mentally. I'm going to try to get along with people. I'm going to try to work with people. I'm going to try to give to people when I can. And I'm going to try to help people when I can. And are there times that people are going to take advantage of you? I'm sure there will be. That happened to me many times. But in the long run, you know, and your God knows, that you're being someone who is trying to help mankind and not hurt mankind. And the idea is that your Lord knows that and will be able to kind of help you achieve those things that you want to achieve because you're giving to people. You look at some of the people who are very successful in the world, and they're great givers because they're grateful for the fact that they have all these benefits and these gifts from God, and they're given to the people. And that's when you become a stronger person. It's really when you are a giver, you become stronger because it takes a lot of risk and chances to give to people because you don't have any idea of how they're going to respond back. All you know is that you're giving. And so the opposite of trying to hurt somebody is to give to them and to be kind and to work it. And though you are a warrior, there's no reason why you still can't be a helpful person. There's no reason why you can't still help people do these type of things. So as we talk about this, it's important, warriors, to understand that the commandment's there because you really want to be strong in your self-control, on your retention. You want to be strong on the fact that you know that your focus is different now. See, guys, when you're addicted to something, you become like a mad person. And that person's going to attack other people to get what they want. You ever see a person who is on drugs, who need drugs? They'll kill to get drugs, right? Because they can't control the addiction. The same thing with porn, the same thing with chasing women around, the same thing with all of this. Because they realize the addiction is so strong that they can't control it, and so they'll try any means they can to get what they want. And this leads to all the other commandments we're talking about. But because of that, you have a lack of faith. Someone who does this, who has to kill, has to do those type of things, they do it because they have a lack of faith. They have a lack of faith that God will provide what they need. And so as a result of that, they take it in their own hands, and they go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take from you, and if I have to knock you out, if I have to hurt you, I will do that. Because I need this. I want this car you have. I want this other thing you have. And I may need to hurt you to get it. And I realize this is not an attitude to have in our society, but we have a lot of it. And we'll talk about this in other commandments. But the idea is that taking money away, person away, taking things from people creates a lot of the problems we have. A lot of the problems we have, in my opinion, my friends, go back to the whole ego thing. There's a lot of problems because people have egos. And because their egos are so strong and they don't realize how addicted they are to certain things, then they will do things to preserve that ego of theirs. And so they may end up hurting people. And that's why this commandment is strong. Now, we're not talking about a situation, once again, that you're defending yourself and someone's trying to hurt you. And an accident goes off and something happens. That's not what we're talking about here. The intent is the key. Did you intend to hurt this person? If you did, then that's going to be something that you're going to have to work with your Creator, because those are the types of things that are not under this commandment, in my mind, at least. And obviously, then you're talking about then doing the opposite, which is using your energy that you have now to be able to help people and kind of help other people. Now, you have to still protect yourself and your family, of course. And that's why you're a warrior. But the thing is, you have to always remember that you're going to have people all the time that are going to choose not to believe in God. They're going to choose to believe as themselves in God, and therefore are going to do anything they have to do to get what they want. And we see this in society, whether it's business or sports or anything like that. People doing all kinds of stuff to get the things they want, not realizing they're selling themselves out. They're selling their soul to the devil. They go for big money. People in Hollywood are like this all the time. People in sports are like this all the time. They get themselves back into such a situation, they put themselves in their own box. And they don't realize how dangerous that is until now they can't get out of the box. I'll give you an example. What leads to a lot of this stuff. You know, people make so much money this year, but they buy more than they buy more than they make. They spend more than they make, and now they have to make more and more and more, and now they're cutting corners. They're trying to figure out ways to get more money because then they're spending more than they make. And this is a key, guys, to the whole situation, because you have to spend more than you make. Now you're desperate, and now you're out there hurting people and doing things that you shouldn't be doing because you're desperate. Gambling is a good example of that. All right, guys, so anyway, commandment, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt take under the wing of a person and try to help that person instead of trying to hurt that person. Till next time, guys, battle on.